The alley behind Lou's diner reeks of rotting vegetables and motor oil. Zara Mitchell crouches behind a dumpster, grease-stained apron still tied around her waist, her breath coming in short bursts. 10 feet away, two men in black hoodies shove a pale teenager into the back of a white van. The kid's mouth is duct-taped. His expensive sneakers scrape against gravel as he thrashes. One kidnapper slams the door, the other lifts his phone to his ear. "We got the package. The old man will pay." Zara's phone buzzes in her pocket. Her second job starts in 90 minutes, across town. Missing the bus means losing the shift. Losing the shift means no rent money this month. The van engine roars. She closes her eyes for half a second. Then her hand finds the metal trash can lid leaning against the wall. Some choices aren't really choices. Zara charges forward, screaming like the world is ending. Maybe someone's world is. The fluorescent lights in the precinct hum like dying insects. Zara sits in a plastic chair that's been bolted to the floor, her hands still trembling. There's dumpster water soaked into her jeans. The smell won't leave. Officer Brennan types with 2 fingers, hunting and pecking at his keyboard. He's maybe 50, with the expression of a man who's heard every story twice. "So you're saying," he reads from his screen, "you attacked 2 armed men with a trash can lid." "Yes. And you didn't know the victim." "No. But you risked your life anyway." Zara shifts in her seat. "They were kidnapping someone." Officer Brennan looks at her over his reading glasses. "Most people call 911. They don't play superheroes." "I did both." He sighs and returns to his keyboard. Hunt, peck, hunt, peck. Zara checks her phone. 23 missed calls from Prestige Logistics, the warehouse where she's supposed to be working right now. Her thumb hovers over the callback button, but what's the point? They don't accept excuses. She's already been written up twice for being late. Across the station, the kidnapped teenager sits wrapped in a gray blanket, a paramedic checking his vitals. He's white, maybe 17, with the kind of haircut that costs more than Zara makes in a week. Even terrified, he has this pulled-together quality, like someone who's never had to worry about missing a bus. Their eyes meet for a second. He nods, a small gesture of acknowledgement. Officer Brennan clears his throat. "You're free to go. We'll call if we need anything else." "That's it?" "That's it. Good work out there, by the way." He says it like an afterthought. Zara stands, her legs unsteady. She needs to get to the bus station. Maybe if she runs... The front doors of the precinct burst open. 3 black SUVs pull into the lot with the kind of precision that suggests military training. The vehicles are identical, windows tinted so dark they look like holes cut into reality. Every cop in the building turns to look. 6 men emerge. Not cops, something else. They wear dark suits with earpieces, moving in formation like a single organism. The lead man is black, mid-40s, built like he could bench press a compact car. His eyes sweep the parking lot, cataloging threats in half a second. Every officer in the precinct straightens up. The lead man approaches the front desk. "Marcus Reeves, Hartwell Security. We're here for Griffin Hartwell." The desk sergeant practically salutes. "Yes, sir. He's in room 3, sir. Unharmed, sir." "And the witness?" The sergeant points at Zara, who's frozen halfway to the door. Marcus Reeves crosses the distance in 4 strides. Up close, he's even more imposing, but his voice is measured, almost gentle. "Ms. Mitchell? How do you know my name?" The officers filed a report. "I'm Marcus Reeves, head of security for the Hartwell family." He extends a hand. His grip is firm but brief. "Griffin would like to thank you personally. Would you mind waiting a few minutes?" Zara glances at the clock on the wall. "I really need to—" "It won't take long, please." There's something in his tone, not quite a request, not quite a command. The kind of voice that's used to being obeyed. Zara nods. 5 minutes later, they bring Griffin out. Without the duct tape and terror, he looks younger. His hands shake slightly as he approaches, and there's a bruise forming on his left cheekbone. "Hey," he says. "I'm Griffin. Zara. I know. They told me." He swallows hard. "You saved my life." "You're welcome." "No, I mean—" He stops, searching for words. "Those guys had guns. You could have been killed. Why did you—" "Because it was the right thing to do." Griffin stares at her like she's just spoken a foreign language. "My grandfather is going to want to meet you. To thank you properly." "That's not necessary." "His name is Elliot Hartwell." Griffin waits, watching for recognition. Zara's expression stays blank. Marcus Reeves steps in. "Hartwell Industries, technology, infrastructure, the Hartwell Foundation. Mr. Hartwell built most of the public transit system in this city." "Oh." Zara's never heard of him. She doesn't follow business news. She follows bus schedules and shift rotations. Griffin's phone buzzes. He glances at it, then back at Zara. "He wants to meet you tomorrow. Please. It's important." Zara's phone buzzes too. She pulls it out. Text from Prestige Logistics. "No call, no show equal termination effective immediately. Final paycheck mailed." She stares at the screen. That was $14.50 an hour. That was her grocery money. "Ms. Mitchell?" Marcus is watching her carefully. "Yeah," Zara says quietly. "Tomorrow is fine." Dawn breaks gray and cold. Zara climbs 4 flights of stairs. The elevator's been broken for 6 months. Her legs burn. She's been awake for 22 hours. The door sticks. It always sticks. Inside, the studio apartment is barely 400 square feet. Water stains bloom across the ceiling like rust-colored flowers. The radiator clanks but produces no heat. Zara can see her breath. On the pull-out couch, her sister Imani sleeps under 3 blankets, dark hair spread across a flat pillow. 14 years old. Zara's responsibility for 3 more years. 3 more years. Some days it feels impossible. Some days it's the only thing keeping her alive. Zara moves to the kitchen corner, a hot plate and mini fridge. Bills spread across the fold-out table arranged by urgency. Red ink. Final notices. Rent, $1,250. Overdue by 12 days. Electric, $340. Shut-off notice for next week. Imani's school activity fees, $85. Drama club, the only thing that makes her sister smile. She pulls the cash jar from the cabinet and counts. $340. $340 in the world. On the counter sits an acceptance letter from Riverside Community College nursing program. Tuition, $4,200 a year. Financial aid covers maybe half. She'd need books, supplies, and transportation. She'd need to cut work hours to attend classes. She'd need a life she doesn't have. The letter is creased from being folded and unfolded 100 times. Zara folds it again and puts it back in the drawer. "Are you just getting home?" Imani sits up, rubbing her eyes. She's wearing Zara's oversized hoodie because her own clothes are threadbare. "Yeah, baby, go back to sleep." "What happened? You look terrible." "Long story. I'm fine." Zara opens the fridge. 2 eggs, half a loaf of bread, questionable deli meat. "You want breakfast?" "Did you eat?" "I ate at work." A lie. Zara hasn't eaten since yesterday afternoon. She makes scrambled eggs and toast, using the last of both. Packs Imani's lunch, sandwich, bruised apple, handful of pretzels in a Ziploc bag. "You're not eating?" Imani's too smart. She sees everything. "I'll grab something later. You're gonna be late." Imani stands, slinging her duct-taped backpack over one shoulder. "Zara, we need to talk about—" "Not now. Go. Love you." "Love you too." The door closes. Zara stands alone, staring at the empty egg carton. Her phone rings. Unknown number. Ms. Mitchell? This is Marcus Reeves from last night. Oh, hi. Mr. Hartwell would like to meet you today. A car will pick you up at 2 p.m. Zara's stomach drops. I can't. I have Lou's Diner from 3 to 11, and I can't miss it or... Ms. Mitchell. Marcus's voice is patient. This meeting could change your life. So could missing my shift. That's $11 an hour. That's the difference between eviction and not. I need this job, Zara says quietly. I'm already behind on rent. Pause. What if we were scheduled for 11 a.m. before your shift? 11 a.m. gives her 45 minutes to get across town. If traffic's bad, she's screwed. If the bus is late, she's screwed. If the meeting runs long. Ms. Mitchell? Zara closes her eyes. 11 a.m. is fine. The car will be at your address at 10:30. Dress comfortably. He hangs up. Zara sits on the edge of the couch and lets herself have 30 seconds of pure exhaustion. Then she stands. She has to be at Lou's in 4 hours for the morning prep shift she picked up to replace the lost warehouse income. The cash jar sits on the counter, $340 to her name. Tomorrow, she's meeting a billionaire. Hartwell Tower rises 52 stories above downtown, all glass and steel, catching the morning sun like a blade. Zara stands on the sidewalk, staring up at it, wearing her neighbor's nice blazer over her own cleanest shirt. The blazer doesn't fit right, too tight in the shoulders, too loose everywhere else. She doesn't belong here. Everyone can tell. The lobby is marble and chrome. Her worn sneakers squeak against the polished floor. A security guard in a suit nicer than anything Zara owns watches her approach the desk. I'm here to see Mr. Hartwell. The receptionist, blonde, perfect makeup, diamond earrings, types without looking up. Name? Zara Mitchell. Now she looks up. Her expression shifts. Oh, Ms. Mitchell, of course. Someone will be right down. Marcus Reeves appears 30 seconds later. This way. He leads her past gawking employees to a private elevator. The doors close. They rise in silence. Zara watches the numbers climb. 30, 40, 50. The elevator opens directly into the penthouse office. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlook the entire city. Zara can see her neighborhood from here, a gray smudge in the distance. The furniture is leather and dark wood, modern art on the walls. Everything costs more than she makes in a year. Ms. Mitchell? The voice comes from behind a massive desk. Elliot Hartwell is 68, silver-haired, sharp-eyed. He sits in a wheelchair, but there's nothing diminished about him. He commands the room like a general. Griffin stands beside him, cleaned up, the bruise on his cheekbone now purple-yellow. He looks embarrassed by all of this. Mr. Hartwell. Zara's voice sounds small in the vast space. Sit, please. Elliot gestures to a chair across from him. You saved my grandson's life. Most people would have walked away. Zara sits on the edge of the leather chair. Most people can't afford to get involved. Elliot's eyebrow lifts. He appreciates honesty. Direct. I like that. He wheels slightly closer. I want to thank you properly. $50,000. Wired to your account today. Zara's vision blurs. 50,000. She could pay rent for 3 years, put Imani through school, go to nursing school herself, breathe for the first time since her parents died. Thank you. I don't know what to say. There's a complication. Elliot's expression hardens. The men who took Griffin. We know who sent them. A business rival named Dennis Crane. He's trying to force me into a merger by targeting my family. This goes to court next week. We need you to testify. The room tilts slightly. Testify? You witnessed the kidnapping. You heard the phone call. Your testimony is crucial. Elliot watches her carefully. I understand this is an inconvenience. Mr. Hartwell, Griffin steps forward. Grandfather, maybe we should... Ms. Mitchell, Elliot cuts him off. I'll compensate you for any time lost. You have my word. Zara's mind races. Court means missing work. Missing work means losing Lou's Diner. That's her last job, her last income. But $50,000. How long would the trial take? Could be a week, could be 2. Marcus speaks from his position by the door. Hard to say. Zara's throat tightens. Mr. Hartwell, I need to be honest with you. The words come out in a rush. I lost my job last night. The warehouse fired me for missing my shift to give my statement to the police. I have one job left at the diner. If I miss shifts for trial, they'll fire me too. I'm 12 days behind on rent. I have a 14-year-old sister I'm responsible for. I can't... She stops, takes a breath. Elliot listens without interrupting. When she finishes, he's quiet for a long moment. How much do you need to be stable through the trial? What? To cover your expenses. Rent, food, your sister's needs. How much for 1 month? Zara calculates quickly. Rent, utilities, food, Imani's school stuff. 3,000? Elliot turns to his assistant, a woman Zara hadn't noticed standing in the corner. Set up a monthly expense fund, 5,000 starting today, continuing until the trial concludes. Sir, the assistant types on her tablet. And find Ms. Mitchell employment with one of our subsidiaries, something with hours that accommodate court schedules. Zara's hands are shaking. I can't accept charity. It's not charity. It's compensation for time and risk. You're a witness in a federal case. Elliot's smile softens slightly. And our heroes deserve to be taken care of. Marcus explains the job while they ride down in the elevator. Hartwell Industries has a contract with the city's community facilities. The youth center on MLK Boulevard needs a community outreach coordinator. Daytime hours, Monday through Friday, $22 an hour. Full benefits after 90 days. Zara stares at him. That's a real job? Very real. You'd be organizing programs for at-risk youth, coordinating with schools and social services, managing volunteer schedules. Marcus hands her a folder. It's not a handout. It's work. Hard work. $22 an hour, with benefits. Zara's highest-paying job was $14.50, and that lasted 3 months before the company downsized. When would I start? Tomorrow, if you're available. Tomorrow. Tomorrow, she could stop working 3 jobs. Tomorrow, she could sleep more than 4 hours a night. Tomorrow, she could afford to buy Imani new shoes without choosing between shoes and electricity. The elevator reaches the lobby. Marcus walks her to the front entrance where a town car waits. The driver will take you wherever you need to go. Mr. Hartwell wanted to make sure you got to your shift on time. I don't know how to thank you. Marcus's expression softens slightly. You already did. You saved that kid's life. He pauses. Not many people would have done what you did, especially knowing the cost. The car pulls away from Hartwell Tower. Zara watches the building shrink in the rear window, half convinced she'll wake up and find this was all a dream. Her phone buzzes, a notification from her bank app. Deposit, $5,000. Zara's eyes blur with tears. That night, after her shift at Lou's Diner, Zara stops at her landlord's apartment. Mr. Carter opens the door in his bathrobe, annoyed. It's almost midnight. I have your rent. Zara holds out an envelope, cash. She withdrew it all from the ATM just to feel the reality of it in her hands. The full amount, plus late fees. Mr. Carter counts it slowly, suspiciously. Where'd you get this kind of money? I'm a witness in a federal case. They're compensating me. He grunts, satisfied with the explanation. Rent's due on the 1st from now on. No more late payments. Yes, sir. Walking back upstairs, Zara lets herself cry in the stairwell where no one can see. Relief. Pure, overwhelming relief. The kind that makes your knees weak. She buys groceries the next morning. A full cart, milk that isn't about to expire, fresh vegetables, chicken breasts, bread without mold spots, cereal that Imani actually likes instead of the cheapest store brand. The cashier rings her up and Zara doesn't have to put anything back. She pays without counting every dollar. In the parking lot, she sits in her car, a 2003 Honda with a broken passenger window covered by a trash bag, and eats a chocolate bar she bought on impulse. She can't remember the last time she bought something just because she wanted it. Her phone rings. Griffin's number. Hey, how are you feeling? Zara asks. Better. Listen, can I buy you coffee? I want to talk to you about something. They meet at a small cafe near the youth center. Griffin arrives early, already has her coffee ordered. He remembered from the car ride that she takes it black with sugar. Thanks for meeting me. He fidgets with his cup. I needed to say something about the kidnapping. You don't have to. It was my fault. Griffin's voice cracks. I'd been sneaking out, lying to the security team about where I was going. I wanted to be normal, you know? To go places without 6 guys following me around. So I went to that neighborhood to prove I wasn't some spoiled rich kid. He laughs bitterly. And I walked right into an ambush. Zara listens without judgment. They knew I'd be there. Someone tipped them off. And you, he looks up. You saved me from my own stupidity. You could have died because I was being an idiot. You're 17. Being stupid is basically the job description. I'm serious. So am I. Zara leans forward. You made a mistake. You didn't deserve to get kidnapped for it. And I didn't save you because you're perfect. I saved you because you needed help. Griffin wipes his eyes quickly. My grandfather, he's not easy. But he's fair. If you ever need anything, and I mean anything, you tell me. I owe you my life. You don't owe me anything? Yeah, I do. And I'm going to spend a long time making sure I deserve what you did. The youth center smells like old gym mats and fresh paint. Zara's new boss, Diane Morrison, is a black woman in her 50s with kind eyes and no-nonsense energy. You'll mostly be working with the after-school program, Diane explains, showing her the facility. Kids come in from 3 to 6. We provide homework help, art programs, sports, and dinner. A lot of them don't have great home situations. Sound familiar? Very. That's why I wanted you for this position. Marcus told me your background. These kids need someone who gets it. The first day, Zara mostly observes, watching Diane interact with the teenagers who filter in after school, loud and defiant and desperately seeking attention. She recognizes herself in every single one of them. A girl named Keisha, maybe 13, sits alone in the corner doing homework. Her backpack is held together with safety pins. Zara sits down across from her. Math? Algebra. I hate it. Me too. Want help? They work through 3 problems together. Keisha's smart, just needs someone to explain it differently. When she gets the 4th problem on her own, her face lights up. I got it! You did. Thanks, miss. What's your name? Zara? Just Zara. That evening, Imani comes home from school and stops in the doorway. There's food in the refrigerator. Real food. New notebooks on the table. A pack of the good pens she likes for drawing. Zara? I got a new job. A real one. We're going to be okay. Imani drops her backpack and hugs her sister so hard Zara can barely breathe. They stand there in their tiny apartment, and for the first time in 3 years, the future doesn't feel like a threat. That night, Zara enrolls in one community college class for the spring semester, medical terminology. Just one class. It's not the full nursing program, but it's a start. She falls asleep before 10 p.m. for the first time in memory, and she doesn't dream of drowning in bills. She dreams of breathing. 3 weeks pass like a dream. Zara learns the rhythms of the youth center. She knows which kids need gentle encouragement and which ones respond to challenges. She knows Keisha likes working in the quiet corner, that Marcus, different Marcus, 12 years old, loud, brilliant, needs to move while he thinks that Destiny writes poetry but won't share it with anyone yet. Imani's grades improved. She tries out for the school play and gets a part. Zara sits in the audience at the parent meeting and doesn't feel like a fraud. The apartment is warmer now. Zara fixed the radiator herself using a YouTube video. There's food in the cabinets. The electricity stays on. Small things. Everything. On Thursday afternoon, Victoria Cross arrives at the youth center. She's Elliot's lead attorney. Sharp blazer, sharper eyes, the kind of woman who wins arguments for a living. We need to go over your testimony. Victoria doesn't waste time on pleasantries. The trial starts Monday. Dennis Crane's legal team will try to discredit you. They sit in Diane's office. Victoria lays out photographs, documents, timelines. Walk me through the alley. Everything you saw. Zara does. The van, the duct tape, the phone call. We got the package. The old man will pay. That's the crucial phrase, Victoria says. It establishes premeditation and Crane's involvement. His lawyers will argue you misheard or invented it for money. Stick to facts. Don't elaborate. Don't let them bait you into speculation. Okay. This man plays dirty. He'll dig into your background, twist anything he finds, expect attacks on your character. Zara's stomach tightens. I haven't done anything wrong. Doesn't matter to men like Crane. Victoria closes her folder. Just remember, you're telling the truth. That's your strength. After Victoria leaves, Marcus Reeves appears. He's been checking in weekly, always professional, always watchful. Lock down your social media, he says. Don't talk to reporters. Don't talk to strangers about the case. Crane's investigators will be looking for ammunition. I don't even have social media. Good. Keep it that way. Marcus pauses at the door. Ms. Mitchell, be careful. Crane's destroyed people before. He'll try to destroy you too. That evening, walking home from the bus stop, Zara notices a man across the street. Baseball cap, dark jacket, camera with a long lens. He's photographing her. When she looks directly at him, he turns and walks away. Zara's hands shake as she unlocks her apartment door. Inside, Imani practices lines for her play, oblivious. The temporary piece shatters like glass. The article appears Monday morning. Local news online. Hartwell's hero has suspicious past. Zara reads it on her phone during her commute. Her hands go numb. Sources close to the investigation question Zara Mitchell's motives in the alleged rescue of Griffin Hartwell. Mitchell, 23, was allegedly fired from multiple jobs for theft and has a history of targeting wealthy individuals. Anonymous witnesses suggest Mitchell may have known Hartwell's identity beforehand and staged the rescue for financial gain. None of it is true, not one word, but it's there, online, permanent. Her phone explodes with notifications, messages from numbers she doesn't recognize, emails, comments on the article calling her a liar, a con artist, worse. At the youth center, Diane pulls her aside. Corporate called. They saw the article. They're asking questions about your background check. I didn't lie on my application. I know. Diane's voice is gentle but worried. But they're scared. The Hartwell name carries weight. If this becomes a scandal, I understand. Zara's voice sounds far away. I'm fighting for you, but I need you to know what we're dealing with. By afternoon, 3 parents have pulled their kids from the after-school program. They don't want their children around that woman. Keisha won't make eye contact. The other kids whisper. Zara's phone rings. Victoria Cross. They're burying you. Victoria sounds furious. Crane's team filed a motion to dismiss your testimony. They're claiming you're an unreliable witness with credibility issues. It's complete fabrication, but it'll take time to fight. The trial is in 4 days. What do I do? We prove them wrong. But Zara, this is going to get worse before it gets better. It gets worse. That evening, Imani comes home early. Her face is blotchy from crying. Baby, what happened? Imani drops her backpack. Everyone at school saw the article. They're saying you're a criminal, that you're lying about everything. Maya told the whole lunch table that her dad says you're probably going to jail. Zara pulls her sister into a hug. None of it's true. Then why are people saying it? Imani's voice breaks. Why are they being so mean? Because the man who tried to hurt Griffin is trying to hurt me, too. So I won't testify against him. Then don't. Imani pulls back, wiping her eyes. If it's making you this upset, just don't do it. We were fine before. Fine. They were 12 days from eviction. They were eating ramen for every meal. Imani's shoes had holes, but at least no one was calling them criminals. I can't explain it right now, but I promise this is going to be okay. Imani goes to her room without another word. Zara sits alone in the kitchen staring at her phone. The article has been shared 2,000 times. The comments are vicious. People who've never met her deciding she's guilty based on lies. Her phone buzzes. Elliot Hartwell. I can make this disappear. His voice is steady, measured. We settle with Crane. Drop the criminal charges. Seal all records. You walk away with your reward money. No testimony needed. But Crane walks free? Yes. And he'll do this to someone else. Pause. Very likely. What if I still testify? Then they'll destroy you publicly. You'll spend years in litigation, legal expenses, media scrutiny. Your name will be tied to this forever. Elliot's voice softens slightly. I'll support you financially, but I can't control the narrative. They'll make you the villain. Zara stares at the peeling paint on the kitchen wall. Can I think about it? You have 48 hours. She doesn't sleep that night. Lies in bed listening to Imani's breathing, thinking about the article, the whispers, the parents pulling their kids from the center, thinking about Dennis Crane, somewhere in his mansion, confident that his money and power can erase justice. At 2:47 a.m., her phone buzzes. Unknown number, text message. Drop out or it gets worse. We know where Imani goes to school. We know her schedule. Back off. Zara's blood turns to ice. She screenshots the message, calls Marcus Reeves even though it's 3 in the morning. He answers on the second ring. What happened? She sends him the screenshot. Stay where you are. I'm calling the FBI. This is a criminal threat. 30 minutes later, Zara sits at her kitchen table with Marcus and 2 FBI agents. They trace the number, burner phone, but the cell tower data places it near a property owned by Crane's security contractor. This is witness intimidation, Agent Sarah Carter says. Federal offense. We can add it to the case. But the trial is in 3 days, Marcus points out. Will it be processed in time? We'll do everything we can. After they leave, Marcus stays. He checks the locks, examines the fire escape, and establishes a security protocol. No one would blame you for walking away, he says finally. Zara thinks about Imani sleeping in the next room, about the years she's spent trying to keep her sister safe, about how one act of kindness has turned into a nightmare. She thinks about Griffin, 17 years old, duct tape over his mouth, terror in his eyes. She thinks about the Chicago woman Griffin mentioned, the one who dropped charges, the one Crane blacklisted anyway. He threatened my sister. I know. If I walk away, he wins, and next time it'll be someone else's sister. Marcus meets her eyes. You're sure? No. Zara's voice shakes. But I'm testifying anyway. Marcus nods slowly. Then we protect you both. I'll have agents watching Imani's school, watching this building. You don't go anywhere alone until the trial ends. Okay. After he leaves, Zara sits in the dark apartment. The article is still online. The comments are still coming. Her reputation was shredded. Her job is uncertain. Her sister threatened. She thinks about calling Elliot, accepting the settlement. Instead, she opens her laptop and starts typing. Her own statement. The truth. Not for the media, they wouldn't print it anyway, but for herself. A record of what actually happened in that alley. Because Dennis Crane can buy lawyers and fake articles and burner phones, but he can't buy the truth, and he can't make her afraid enough to let him win. Griffin appears at Zara's apartment the next morning with Marcus and 2 security guards. He looks like he hasn't slept either. I found something. He's carrying a laptop and a folder thick with printouts. Can I come in? Imani stares from the couch. You're Griffin Hartwell. Yeah, you're Imani, right? Zara talks about you all the time. They sit at the kitchen table. Griffin opens his laptop, and Zara sees months of research. Spreadsheets, news articles, court documents. Crane's done this before. Griffin's voice is tight with anger. 3 other cases in the last 5 years. Same pattern. He targets competitors' families, creates a crisis, then forces a settlement. And when witnesses try to testify, he destroys them. He pulls up a case file. Chicago, 2021. A woman named Rebecca Torres. Crane's people threatened her kids. She dropped charges. He paid her off, $50,000. 6 months later, she lost her job. Turns out Crane blacklisted her in the industry. She couldn't find work anywhere. Why didn't she sue? She tried. He buried her in legal fees until she went bankrupt. Griffin clicks to another file. Seattle, 2022. Same thing. Portland, 2023. He's systematic about it. Zara stares at the screen. These women, would they testify now? I already asked. 2 of them said yes. They're tired of being scared. They just needed someone to go first. Why are you doing this? Zara asks quietly. Griffin looks up. Because this is my fault. If I hadn't been stupid, you wouldn't be in this mess. And because... He stops. You showed me what courage actually looks like. I'm not going to let him destroy you for that. Victoria Cross arrives an hour later. Griffin shows her everything. She reads in silence, her expression sharpening with each page. This changes the case. We're not just prosecuting kidnapping, we're exposing systematic criminal enterprise. She pulls out her phone. I'm calling the FBI. They need to see this. By afternoon, Agent Carter is back with 2 other agents. They spread evidence across Zara's small kitchen table, Griffin's research, the threat texts, financial records Marcus obtained through Hartwell's investigators. We've been building a case against Crane for 2 years, Agent Carter admits. But witnesses kept disappearing, settling out, getting scared. She looks at Zara. You're the first one willing to stand. I'm terrified. I know, but you're standing anyway. The breakthrough comes that evening. The FBI traced the threat texts to a security contractor named Blake Morrison, former employee of Crane Logistics. They raided his apartment and found emails. Dozens of them. Direct orders from Crane to neutralize the witness, instructions for the smear campaign, payment records. Marcus calls Zara with the news. We have him. Documentary evidence. Emails with Crane's signature. The case is solid now. So I still have to testify? Yes, but now you're not alone. Victoria arranges an interview with Elena Martinez, an investigative journalist known for taking down corporate corruption. They meet at a neutral location, a community center, not the Hartwell building. Elena's smart, thorough and skeptical of everyone. "Tell me what really happened," Elena says. "Start with the alley." Zara tells the truth, all of it. Poverty, the 3 jobs, the split-second decision, the aftermath, the threats. Griffin sits beside her. "This is my fault. I was being reckless. Zara saved my life, and Crane is trying to destroy her for it." He looks directly at the camera. "But we're not going to let that happen." The interview aired that night on 3 major networks. The footage is raw, honest, and devastating. Zara's exhaustion shows. Griffin's guilt shows. The truth shows. By morning, #I stand with Zara is trending nationally. The article gets fact-checked and debunked. The fake theft allegations, proven false. The anonymous sources, traced back to Crane's PR firm. The entire smear campaign unravels under scrutiny. Zara's phone fills with messages. This time they're supportive. Her co-workers from the youth center call to apologize. Parents who pulled their kids want them back in the program. Strangers send encouragement. At the youth center, Keisha approaches Zara hesitantly. "I'm sorry I stopped talking to you. My mom made me. But I saw the interview. You're really brave. I'm really scared." "That's what brave means, though. Right?" Zara hugs her. That afternoon, Elliot's team released the FBI evidence publicly. The emails, the pattern of intimidation, the systematic witness tampering. Major news outlets pick it up. Legal analysts call it one of the most brazen cases of corporate criminality in recent history. Dennis Crane's lawyers scramble. They issue denials, threaten countersuits, but the evidence is overwhelming. Victoria calls with an update. "Crane's trying to settle now, offering to plead to lesser charges if we drop the intimidation counts." "What did you say?" "I told him to see us in court." Monday morning, federal courthouse. The steps are packed with media, protesters holding signs, half supporting Zara, half claiming she's a fraud. Camera flashes pop like lightning. Zara walks between Marcus and Griffin. She wears a borrowed dress. Victoria's assistant bought it yesterday, professional but not expensive. She needs to look credible, but not like she's profiting. Imani stays home with FBI protection. Too dangerous to bring her. Inside, the courtroom is all dark wood and American flags. Judge Rebecca Harper presides, 60, stern, known for not tolerating games. The jury box holds 12 people who will decide everything. Dennis Crane sits at the defense table. He's 55, silver-haired like Elliot but without dignity. Expensive suit, confident posture. He looks at Zara like she's an insect. Elliot sits in the gallery, wheelchair positioned for clear view. He refused to stay home. "I want him to see me," he said. "I want him to know he failed." Victoria stands. The prosecution calls Zara Mitchell. Zara walks to the witness stand. Her legs shake. The bailiff swears her in. Her hand on the Bible is steady, even though nothing inside her is. "Ms. Mitchell," Victoria's voice is clear, professional. "Tell the jury what you witnessed on the evening of October 15th. Zara takes a breath. "I was leaving my shift at Lou's Diner around 9:30 p.m. I cut through the alley behind the building. I always do. It's faster to the bus stop. That's when I saw the van." "Describe what you saw." "Two men in dark hoodies. They were forcing a teenager into the back of a white van. He was struggling. His mouth was covered with duct tape. One of them slammed the door and the other made a phone call." "Did you hear what was said on that call?" "Yes. He said, 'We got the package. The old man will pay.'" Murmurs in the gallery. Judge Harper's gavel comes down once. Silence. "What did you do next?" "I grabbed a trash can lid and I ran at them. I hit the first one, the one with the phone, and his gun fell. The second one came at me, but the teenager kicked the van door open from inside. There was a fight. The men ran when they heard sirens. Did you know the teenager's identity at that time? No. I found out at the police station. His name is Griffin Hartwell. Did anyone offer you money to make this testimony? Mr. Hartwell offered me a reward for saving his grandson, $50,000. But that was after. I didn't know who Griffin was when I helped him. Victoria walks Zara through more details. The timeline, the injuries, the police report. Every question is precise, factual, boring in the best way. Truth is boring. Truth doesn't need drama. Then Victoria sits down. Gerald Moss stands. He's Crane's lead attorney, expensive, aggressive, paid to destroy people. Ms. Mitchell, you were facing eviction when this incident occurred, correct? I was behind on rent, yes. 12 days behind, and you'd just lost your job. Yes. You were desperate for money. I needed money, yes. Convenient, then, that you rescued a billionaire's grandson. He makes air quotes around rescued. Victoria objects. Counsel is testifying. Sustained. Ask a question, Mr. Moss. Moss pivots. You expect this jury to believe you risked your life for a complete stranger? Zara looks at him directly. I expect you wouldn't understand. Someone in the gallery laughs. Judge Harper's expression doesn't change, but her eyes flicker with something that might be approval. Moss tries another angle. How much has Elliot Hartwell paid you since this incident? He provided living expenses while I prepared for trial. $5,000 a month, and he helped me get a job. A job at a Hartwell subsidiary, very convenient. It's a real job. I work 40 hours a week with at-risk youth. But you're being compensated. I'm being compensated for my time as a witness. That's legal. That's normal. And it doesn't change what I saw. Zara's voice stays level. Those men kidnapped Griffin Hartwell. I saw it. I stopped it. That's the truth. Moss tries for 20 more minutes, but Zara doesn't break. She sticks to facts. She doesn't elaborate. She doesn't get defensive. Finally, he sits down. Victoria calls the FBI next. Agent Carter presents the evidence. The threat texts traced to Blake Morrison, Crane's contractor. The emails, printed, highlighted, devastating. Direct orders from Crane to eliminate the witness problem. Payment records showing $50,000 transferred to Morrison's offshore account the day after the kidnapping. The jury leans forward. This is the hard evidence. Then Victoria calls Blake Morrison himself. He took a plea deal 3 days ago. Reduced sentence in exchange for testimony. Morrison is 40, nervous, sweating in his suit. He admits everything. Crane hired him to orchestrate the kidnapping. The plan was to grab Griffin, hold him for 48 hours, force Elliot into signing merger documents. Morrison hired the 2 kidnappers, both now in custody. And after Ms. Mitchell intervened? Victoria asks. Mr. Crane told me to discredit her, make her look unreliable. We created the fake article, threatened her family. The goal was to make her drop out. On Mr. Crane's orders? Yes, I have the emails. Victoria introduces them as evidence. The jury passes them around. Several jurors look at Crane with open disgust. Crane's face is stone. Victoria's final witness is Elliot Hartwell. The courtroom goes quiet as Elliot wheels himself to the stand. He's sworn in. He sits straight, dignified, formidable even in a wheelchair. Mr. Hartwell, how has this incident affected your family? My grandson has nightmares. He's in therapy twice a week. He's scared to leave the house without security. He's 17 years old, and he's been robbed of the ability to feel safe. And Ms. Mitchell? Elliot looks at Zara. Ms. Mitchell had no wealth, no power, no obligation to help, but she risked everything because it was right. He turns to the jury. I've spent 45 years building companies, creating jobs, trying to make this city better. In all that time, I've learned one truth. He pauses. Courage shouldn't cost everything, Not in my city. The jury is riveted. Gerald Moss tries to cross-examine, but there's nothing to attack. Elliot is too precise, too credible, too clearly a victim. Closing arguments are sharp and fast. Victoria summarizes the evidence, the eyewitness testimony, the FBI investigation, the emails, Morrison's confession, the pattern of behavior, the systematic criminality. Moss argues reasonable doubt, claims the emails are taken out of context, suggests Morrison is lying for a deal. But the evidence is overwhelming. The jury deliberates for 4 hours. Zara sits in the hallway with Imani. Marcus brought her for the verdict. Griffin paces. Elliot reads on his tablet, calm and patient. At 4:47 p.m., the bailiff calls them back. Has the jury reached a verdict? The foreman stands. She's a black woman, maybe 50, wearing a cardigan. We have, Your Honor. In the matter of the United States versus Dennis Crane, on the charge of conspiracy to commit kidnapping, how do you find? Guilty. On the charge of witness intimidation? Guilty. On the charge of racketeering? Guilty. Judge Harper reads through all 7 counts. Guilty. 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 Dennis Crane's shoulders slump. His lawyers immediately start whispering about appeals. Judge Harper's gavel comes down. The defendant is remanded into custody immediately. Sentencing in 6 weeks. Marshals approach. Crane stands, and for the first time he looks small. They lead him out in handcuffs. The courtroom erupts. The media rushes for the doors. Elliot nods once, satisfied. Griffin hugs Zara. Imani cries. Victoria permits herself a small smile. Outside, the courthouse steps are chaos. Victoria makes a brief statement about justice being served. But then Elliot does something unexpected. He gestures for Zara to come forward. Ms. Mitchell would like to say something. Zara steps up to the microphones. Cameras flash. The crowd goes quiet. I didn't do anything special. I just did what was right. Her voice is steady. But it shouldn't be this hard to do what's right. People shouldn't lose everything for helping someone. We need to be better than that. The applause starts small, then builds. That evening, the footage plays on every news channel. Zara's face, her words, the truth. Justice, finally, served. 2 months later, the youth center hums with life. Zara's office, she has an office now, assistant director, overlooks the basketball court. Keisha stops by between classes, shows her report card. 3 A's and 2 B's. Miss Zara, look! That's beautiful, baby. The program has doubled in size. Zara hired 3 new coordinators, expanded evening hours, added college prep. Imani volunteers on Saturdays, mentoring 8th graders. On Thursday, Marcus calls. Mr. Hartwell and Griffin are visiting. Elliot wheels through the doors with Griffin 20 minutes later. The kids recognize them. The trial was national news. Elliot tours quietly, watching Zara lead a college workshop, observing tutoring sessions, the community dinner being prepared. In Zara's office afterward, Elliot gets direct. You've built something meaningful here. The Hartwell Foundation needs someone who understands what actually works on the ground. I'm offering you a seat on our board. I don't know anything about running a foundation. You know what these communities need. That's more valuable than any MBA. He pauses. We fund programs across the city, but we're disconnected from reality. I don't want yes people. I want truth tellers. Zara accepts. Griffin stays after Elliot leaves. He's different now, quieter, more thoughtful. He volunteers twice a week, tutors math, and organizes basketball tournaments. You changed my life twice, he tells Zara. Once by saving it, once by showing me what actually matters. You're doing the work. That's what counts. Walking home that evening with Imani, Zara passes the alley behind Lou's diner. Same dumpster, same smell, same gravel where everything changed. Imani notices her pause. Are you thinking about that night? Every day. Would you do it again? Zara looks at her sister, healthy, happy, safe. Thinks about Keisha's report card, young Marcus's laughter, Griffin's transformation, the board position. The scholarship program Elliot established last week in her name, funding nursing degrees for low-income students citywide. 347 students so far. Every single time. They walk home through streets that feel different now. Not safer exactly, but it's possible. Above them, city lights flicker against the evening sky. The apartment is warm when they arrive. No water stains. Zara had the ceiling fixed. The radiator works. Imani's acceptance letter to Riverside Prep sits on the table, full scholarship. She wants to be a lawyer now. Like Victoria, but less scary. Zara makes dinner, real groceries, full fridge, and they eat together. Normal, ordinary, the most extraordinary thing in the world. 6 months later. The Hartwell Foundation annual gala fills a downtown ballroom with the city's most powerful people. Zara attends in a simple black dress, comfortable now in these spaces, but never forgetting where she came from. She takes the podium to announce the new initiative, 100 full-ride scholarships annually for low-income students pursuing healthcare careers. The Mitchell Scholarship Program. This exists because one choice in one alley changed everything, Zara says. But it shouldn't take a crisis for people to get opportunities. We're changing that. The room stands, applauding. Elliot watches from his table, satisfied. Griffin sits with the youth center kids he mentored into college. 3 of them earned Mitchell scholarships. Imani, 15 now, attends Riverside Prep. Straight A's. She wants to be a civil rights attorney. Victoria has already promised her a summer internship. Text appears on screen. Zara Mitchell serves on the Hartwell Foundation Board. The Mitchell Scholarship has helped 347 students pursue healthcare careers. Griffin Hartwell graduated with honors and runs youth outreach programs in 5 cities. Dennis Crane is serving 12 years in federal prison. Final scene. Zara at the youth center, teaching self-defense to teenage girls. One asks, "What if we're scared?" Zara smiles. Being scared means you're paying attention. Do it anyway. What would you do if you saw someone in trouble? Comment below. And if this story moved you, subscribe for more stories that prove ordinary people can change the world.